She is not making small talk. She is opening a door. You have seen it. A woman smiles and asks your age. Another leans in and asks why you are single. One more asks if you would ever date her. Most older men answer the question and miss the signal. They explain, defend, or make a joke that shuts the moment down. The spark dies not because she was not interested, but because you treated a green light like a traffic survey. Here is the shift. These questions are not interviews. They are invitations. She is testing your ease, your composure, your warmth. She wants to feel a man who carries time well and does not rush to prove himself. That is Stoic presence. Short answers, calm eyes, a relaxed smile, a steady frame that turns a question into chemistry. In this video, you will learn 8 common questions women use to invite you in. You will hear the exact response that keeps tension alive, the tone that makes her feel safe, and the timing that turns a doorstep into a date. You will see the mistake that kills attraction and the pivot that fixes it. Listen. One of these questions appears harmless, yet it is the fastest path to intimacy if you handle it right. Let's get into it. Number 1. When she asks your age. Let's be honest, when a woman asks your age, most men over 50 immediately tense up. They think she's judging, comparing, or about to remind them they're too old. But here's the truth, she's not looking for a number. She's looking for a feeling. The question is never really, how old are you? It's, how do you carry your years? You can tell everything about a man by how he handles that moment. Some guys panic and try to be funny, old enough to know better, young enough to still make mistakes. Others get defensive. Why, you think I look old? And just like that, the energy collapses. What could have been connection turns into self-consciousness. Let me give you an example. Robert, 55, a carpenter from Oregon, met Jessica, 48, at a local wine bar. When she asked, "So how old are you really?" he smiled, looked her in the eye and said, "Old enough to know who I am, young enough to still be curious about someone like you." Then he took a sip of his drink and said nothing else. No rush, no need to over-explain. Jessica smiled, not because of the words, but because of how he said them. Calm, grounded, confident. You see, women don't test your age. They test your attitude about age. When you treat the question like an attack, she feels your insecurity. But when you answer with ease, she feels your stability. That's what she's really drawn to a man who's made peace with time. There's something incredibly attractive about a man who wears his age like a badge, not a burden. He doesn't hide from his years, he owns them. He's seen storms, learned patience, and knows what matters. That kind of energy makes a woman feel both curious and safe. She senses that he's lived, but he's not tired of living. Here's where Stoic wisdom comes in. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "It is not death that a man should fear, but never beginning to live." That's the essence of this moment. When she asks your age, she's not testing your youth, she's testing your vitality. Are you still alive inside? Do your eyes still carry warmth? Do you still move through life with curiosity? If you do, your age becomes part of your charm. Remember, attraction isn't about pretending to be young. It's about showing that your spirit hasn't gone stale. You don't chase youth, you embody experience. Your calmness, your ease, your humor, those are the qualities that tell her she's with a man who doesn't flinch when life asks questions. When she asks your age, take a breath. Smile. Give a direct, confident answer if you want, or playfully reframe it. But never explain, never apologize, never shrink. Because she's not looking for a man who clings to yesterday. She's looking for one who stands firmly in today. So when the next woman looks at you with that teasing curiosity and says, "How old are you?" remember, she's not trying to make you feel old. She's trying to feel you. If you understand that, write it below. Say it for yourself, "I own my age." Because the men who do, they don't chase attraction, they radiate it. And trust me, when you carry your age with calm confidence, you'll start to notice that she stops asking how old you are and starts wondering how she can be part of your story. Number 2. When she asks why you're single, this one catches a lot of men off guard. You're having a good conversation, she's laughing, the energy feels right, and suddenly she tilts her head and asks, "So, why are you single?" Most men freeze. They think it's a trick question. But here's what's really happening. She's not judging your relationship status, she's testing your emotional availability. She wants to see how you handle vulnerability, not what you say, but how you say it. The wrong move here is to treat the question like a courtroom interrogation. You start explaining, defending, or worse, blaming. You say things like, "Well, I just haven't found the right one," or "I'm done with games," or "Women my age are too complicated." That kind of response tells her you're still carrying weight, that you're reacting from the past, not living in the present. The right move: answer lightly, calmly, with presence. You're not explaining your relationship history, you're showing your peace with it. A man who's made peace with his past radiates emotional control, and that's magnetic. When she asks why you're single, she's asking something much deeper. Are you still open? Do you still have room for connection? Can you talk about your life without bitterness or regret? The man who can do that, who can smile softly and say, I guess I was waiting until I was ready to give my best self. That's the man who stands out. Stoic philosophy captures this perfectly. Epictetus said, "We suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgment about them." If you speak from judgment, if you frame your singleness as a failure or as someone else's fault, she feels your resentment. But if you speak from acceptance, if your tone carries the peace of a man who's learned, grown, and stayed grounded, she feels your stability. It's not about the words, it's about the energy. A Stoic man doesn't apologize for being single. He doesn't over-explain it. He doesn't fill silence with nervous laughter. He simply owns it as if it's just another part of his life, not a flaw to fix, but a fact to carry with grace. Here's the quiet truth: women aren't attracted to men who seem desperate for connection. They're drawn to men who can stand alone and still feel full. Your calm presence tells her, "I'm whole and I'm open." That's powerful. Because when a woman senses you're not searching for someone to complete you, she starts imagining what it would feel like to join you. So when she asks, "Why are you single?" don't rush, don't overthink. Smile, slightly pause, and say something grounded like, "Life's been good to me. I just haven't met someone who matches my peace yet." Then let silence do its work. That silence isn't awkward, it's commanding. Seneca once said, "He who is brave is free." Be brave enough to be unbothered. You don't need to convince her of your worth. You show it by being still, by being centered. Remember, this question isn't about your past, it's about your energy right now. Answer it with calm confidence, and she'll feel something she rarely feels anymore: safety. If that truth resonates, write it in the comments below. I am calm and open. Because the man who answers softly without defense or apology doesn't chase understanding, he becomes it. And that's the kind of man she'll remember long after the question fades. Number 3. When she asks about younger women. When a woman looks you in the eye and asks, "Do you date younger women?" she's not really curious about your preferences, she's measuring her chances. That question sounds innocent, even playful, but it's actually a test wrapped in curiosity. She wants to know how you see women, how you handle temptation, and whether your attention comes from depth or ego. Most men answer this question the wrong way. They either try to look virtuous, "No, I prefer someone my own age," or they try to look impressive. "Younger women like me, but I like experience." Both answers kill attraction. Why? Because they sound like performances. You're either defending yourself or showing off, and neither makes her feel anything real. Let's take a real example. David, 58, met Olivia, 46, at a jazz lounge in Chicago. During their second drink, she leaned in and asked the question, "So, do you usually go for younger women?" David didn't flinch. He smiled, paused, and said, "Sometimes I meet someone who makes me forget about age altogether." Then he held her gaze calm, unhurried. The air changed immediately. Olivia laughed softly, but the way she looked at him said everything. The moment became charged not because of clever words, but because of calm energy. That's how a Stoic man handles it, without rushing, without defending, and without fear. Because here's what that question really reveals. She's wondering if she can compete, not in beauty but in vitality. She wants to know if you're still chasing novelty or if you can appreciate a woman with depth. The truth, a younger woman might turn heads, but a woman with experience turns hearts, and she knows that. When you show her that what draws you isn't youth, but connection, she feels something powerful, safety. Not the dull kind of safety that comes from comfort, but the exciting kind that comes from being seen. Women want to feel desired, but not categorized. When you stay composed, your answer tells her everything: that you're not easily distracted, that you understand value, and that you move through life by choice, not impulse. There's a Stoic parallel here. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If your thoughts are calm, grounded, and pure of ego, your words carry that same color. When you respond to her with stillness, not trying to impress, not trying to deny, she feels that you're a man who doesn't chase validation, and that is deeply attractive. Remember, this attraction is not about trying to sound right. It's about being real, calm, honest, and steady. When she asks about younger women, what she's really asking is, "Can I trust your focus?" Your tone should answer that before your words do. Keep it simple. Smile. Maybe say, "I've learned that age doesn't define connection, energy does." Then stop. Let silence do its job. A woman feels confidence most in the space between your words. Now, if that perspective makes sense to you, lock it in, write it in the comments. I stay calm under pressure. Because when you stop trying to prove anything, she starts feeling everything. And what's coming next, if you've ever wondered how women secretly test your emotional control, you'll regret missing it. So stay with me. Number 4. When she asks your type. This one's trickier than it looks. When a woman asks, "What's your type?" she's not looking for a checklist, she's looking for a reflection. It's not really about your preferences, it's about how you see women. What you say next tells her everything, whether you're grounded or shallow, whether you're searching for a connection or collecting attention. Most men answer this the wrong way. They start listing physical traits: blonde hair, blue eyes, athletic, funny, kind. But here's the problem that turns you into a man who's looking for an image, not an energy. The moment you sound like you're describing a template, the spark fades. A Stoic man answers differently. He doesn't describe appearances, he describes presence. He talks about qualities that reflect emotional peace, not social perfection. He might say, "I like a woman who's calm but curious, someone who's comfortable in her own skin." Simple, steady, no excess words. That kind of answer does something to a woman. It makes her wonder if she fits that description, and more importantly, if she wants to. Because this question isn't about what she is, it's about how she feels around you. When your answer comes from emotional awareness, she feels seen, even if you never say it directly. This is where Stoicism and attraction meet perfectly. Epictetus wrote, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." In this moment, your reaction matters more than your words. You don't rush to impress, and you don't get flustered trying to be clever. You stay grounded, calm, composed. That's emotional control, and it's rare. When you stay present, you project something women crave: certainty. You know what you like, but you're not ruled by it. You're open but not needy. You're curious but not chasing. That balance communicates power, quiet masculine power. And there's another layer here. The way you describe your type is how you describe yourself. When you talk about emotional, calm, grace under pressure, curiosity, or strength, you're indirectly revealing your own values. You're saying, "This is what I live by." And that tells her more than any list ever could. Now, most men think they have to sound poetic or deep here. They don't. The truth is, a simple, honest answer, delivered with stillness, always wins. Attraction isn't built by words, it's built by how you hold yourself while saying them. So the next time she asks, "What's your type?" take a breath, look her in the eye, smile slightly, and answer in a way that reveals your values, not your fantasies. Because she doesn't want to hear about perfection. She wants to hear about truth. If that resonates with you, write it below. As your reminder, I speak with calm clarity. And before we move on, if you're serious about mastering this kind of emotional power, this calm confidence that women feel, instantly join our private Stoic men's circle. Inside, you'll get access to deeper mindset lessons, guided reflections, and exclusive sessions on masculine presence, the kind that turns quiet confidence into magnetic energy. Don't wait. Real power isn't taught in noise, it's built in stillness. You'll find that stillness there. Now don't go anywhere. What comes next will show you how women test that calm, even when you think you're passing every test. Number 5. When she calls you charming, when a woman looks at you and says, "You're charming," it might sound like a compliment, but it's also a test. She's not just appreciating your vibe, she's checking your control. She wants to see whether you'll lose your grounding or stay calm in the presence of praise. Here's the thing, charm is dangerous when you don't know how to hold it. Too many men treat this as an invitation to perform. They lean in, grin, wider, try to seal the deal. That's when the charm breaks. What started as attraction turns into effort, and effort in this context kills mystery. Let me show you what I mean. Richard, 53, runs a small real estate firm in Florida. One evening at a local art exhibit, a woman named Melissa, 48, laughed at one of his quiet remarks and said, "You're kind of charming." You know that Richard didn't flinch. He didn't laugh nervously or toss the compliment back. He smiled slightly and said, "That's nice of you to notice." Then he turned his attention back to the painting they were standing in front of. That moment, that calm, unshaken composure, did more for him than any flirtatious line ever could. Melissa later told him, "It was like you didn't need my attention, which made me want to give you more." That's the paradox. True charm isn't about winning attention. It's about not needing it. When she calls you charming, she's not trying to inflate your ego, she's watching how you handle it. If you act like it's a big deal, she knows your self-worth is tied to external validation. But if you accept it with calm confidence, she senses emotional maturity. You become the man who doesn't chase you, attract by being still. There's a Stoic lesson in this. Seneca once wrote, "He who indulges empty praise robs himself of true strength." Think about that. Every time you depend on approval, you give away a piece of your power. But when you can receive a compliment without leaning on it, you show that your confidence comes from within. Charm, when grounded in calmness, becomes gravity. It's not about words or smiles, it's about energy. The slower your reactions, the stronger your presence. A woman can sense it immediately. You're not moved by flattery, you're moved by truth. So when she calls you charming, don't make a joke, don't play it up, don't downplay it either. Just receive it. A slight nod, a soft smile, maybe a simple thank you, that's enough. Your calmness turns her compliment into connection. What makes this powerful is what comes next, the silence. She'll study you in that pause, trying to understand why her words didn't shake you. That's when she feels your steadiness, and that's when attraction deepens. Now think about it. In a world full of men who scramble for validation, being unbothered is the loudest statement you can make. When your energy says, "I've heard it all before," your presence says, "But I still see you now." That's irresistible. If that resonates with you, type it below, "I stay grounded." Because that's what she's really looking for. Not a man who tries to impress her, but one who stays calm enough to impress himself. Don't go anywhere. What's next will reveal the most subtle question women ask when they're trying to see your emotional depth. You'll regret missing it. Number 6. When she asks why, no girlfriend. When a woman looks at you and asks, "So, why don't you have a girlfriend?" she's not fishing for gossip. She's testing your readiness. What she really wants to know is, are you emotionally available, or are you just comfortable being alone? This question isn't about your past, it's about your present energy. She's trying to sense if your single life is built on peace or on pain. Most men fail this test because they answer with either frustration or defensiveness. Haven't found the right one. Women these days are too complicated, or I'm just focused on myself. Those answers sound closed. They tell her, your walls are still up. The Stoic man answers differently. He treats the question not as a threat, but as a mirror. He pauses, smiles slightly, and answers from calm awareness, not reaction. A man who's at peace with himself doesn't rush to explain. He just owns his truth. Because here's the truth, she's not judging you for being single. She's watching how you carry it. If you wear it like a wound, she feels resistance. If you wear it like a choice, she feels power. The difference lies in tone, not words. A calm, confident response might sound like this: I've learned to enjoy my own company. I think connection works best when both people are already complete. Simple, honest, grounded. That kind of answer doesn't push her away, it invites her to step closer. It's interesting, Stoic philosophy teaches this same principle. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Being single isn't about lack, it's about self-mastery. A man who can be at peace alone is a man who doesn't need, he chooses. And that kind of man makes a woman feel secure. When she asks this question, she's not looking for your dating resume. She's searching for signs of stillness. She wants to feel that you're not haunted by your past or desperate for validation. Your calmness tells her you've done the work, you've processed, you've grown, and you're ready for something real. The most powerful energy you can project in this moment is ease. Not the kind that comes from apathy, but the kind that comes from self-awareness. When you're at ease with yourself, you automatically put her at ease. This is why many men over 50 become more attractive, not because of looks, but because of composure. You've lived enough life to know what truly matters. You no longer chase approval. You live aligned with peace. And peace is magnetic. A Stoic man doesn't use his solitude as a shield, he uses it as proof. Proof that he's learned the hardest lesson of all, how to be fulfilled without needing anyone else to fill him. So when she asks, "Why don't you have a girlfriend?" don't overthink it. Just stay steady. Smile. Let your tone do the work. Because when you answer from calm confidence, she stops hearing your words, she starts feeling your balance. If this makes sense to you, write it below. I choose peace over pressure. And stay with me, because the next question women ask isn't about your relationship status. It's about whether you're brave enough to make it personal. You'll regret missing that one. Number 7. When she asks if you date her. When a woman looks at you and says, "Would you ever date someone like me?" stop right there. That's not casual curiosity. That's a confession disguised as a question. It's one of the most vulnerable and risky things she can say, because deep down she's already imagining it. She just wants to know if you feel the same without risking rejection. The moment she asks that, everything in the air changes. She's handing you a piece of power, not because she's weak, but because she's curious how you'll use it. Will you fumble it by making a joke? Will you overplay it by acting too eager? Or will you hold it with calm, grounded masculinity? Let me give you a real example. Thomas, 57, a music teacher from Arizona, met Rachel, 50, at a local open mic night. After a few weeks of casual chats one evening, she leaned forward, smiled, and said quietly, "So, would you ever date someone like me?" Thomas didn't rush. He didn't crack a joke, didn't make it awkward. He just looked at her, smiled gently and said, "I'd be a fool not to." Then he went silent. That silence wasn't arrogance, it was gravity. It gave her time to feel his sincerity. Rachel later told him, "You didn't try to charm me. You just made it feel safe to want you." That's the magic. When a woman asks this question, she's testing whether your energy is safe but exciting. She's checking if you can hold emotional tension without dissolving it. Here's what most men get wrong. They either dodge the question out of fear or they try to capitalize on it too quickly. Either move breaks the flow. The key is to stay in that moment fully. Don't rush to define it. Don't make her feel embarrassed for asking. Let her words breathe and let your stillness speak. This kind of composure comes from emotional maturity, the kind the Stoics taught. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." In this context, the injury is ego. Most men would let their ego jump in, trying to turn her vulnerability into a victory. But the Stoic man does the opposite. He protects it. When you hold that moment with calm confidence, she feels something rare: trust. You're not reacting, you're responding. You're not seeking validation, you're giving reassurance. That balance of strength and gentleness is what creates genuine desire. Think about it, she wouldn't ask if she didn't already see potential. But she also doesn't want a man who's desperate to confirm it. She wants to feel chosen, not chased. So when that question comes, and it will remember the right answer isn't about clever words, it's about tone, timing, and stillness. Maybe you say, "That depends. Can you handle it with a soft smile?" Or maybe you just say, "I think I already am." Either way, make it feel effortless, because that's what attraction really is, effortlessness. If that truth lands with you, write it below. I move with calm certainty. And don't go anywhere. The next part will expose the silent signals women send long before words ever leave their lips. You'll regret skipping it. Number 8. When she leans closer. When a woman leans in toward you even slightly, it's not just a physical gesture, it's a psychological one. She's entering your space to feel your energy more clearly. At that moment, her body is saying something her words won't. I'm curious about you. This isn't about dominance or seduction, it's about presence. When she leans closer, what she's really doing is reading your calmness. She's measuring your composure. A man who's anxious will tense up. A man who's unsure will overcompensate. But the man who's grounded, the one who doesn't need to perform, he lets the silence breathe. That stillness creates a kind of gravity. It makes her want to stay in your orbit a little longer. That's because calm energy is magnetic. In a world where everyone rushes to fill the air with noise, your ability to remain comfortable in silence stands out like confidence disguised as peace. Now here's the thing most men miss when she leans in. It's her move, not yours. It's her way of stepping into your frame, not an invitation to break it. The moment you move toward her too quickly, you undo the very dynamic that drew her in. The Stoics would call this mistaking impulse for intention. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." That's exactly what's happening in this moment. Her leaning closer is an outside event. Your job isn't to react, it's to remain. To stay steady, calm, aware, but unmoved. That's what separates control from chaos. When you stay still, you're silently telling her something profound. I'm not surprised by your interest. That kind of energy doesn't seek validation. It radiates certainty. And women feel it instantly, not as arrogance, but as grounded masculinity. You see, women are naturally intuitive. They sense your heartbeat through your words, your breath, your pauses. If your stillness is genuine, they'll feel it in their bones. It's not about pretending to be calm, it's about being calm, because calmness means you don't need to chase. In that quiet tension, attraction grows. She starts wondering what it would take to make you lose that composure, and that curiosity keeps her coming back. When she leans closer, don't ruin it with words. Let your silence carry meaning. Maybe you smile slightly. Maybe you hold eye contact a beat longer than usual. That's all it takes. In that pause, she's the one chasing the connection, not you. And if you ever doubt how powerful that can be, remember this Stoic truth from Epictetus. No great thing is created suddenly. Attraction isn't forced. It's built slowly through presence, patience, and self-command. When you master that, you stop trying to attract and start becoming attractive. So the next time she leans in, stay still, stay quiet. Let her come closer, physically, emotionally, and energetically. You don't need to do more. Your silence already said everything. If this resonates, drop it below. As your reminder, I stay calm under pressure. And stay with me, the next part reveals the subtle moment when her curiosity shifts into something deeper, something she might not even admit to herself. Trust me, you'll want to hear it. Number 9. When she mirrors you. When a woman starts mirroring your movements, your posture, tone, or even how you hold your glass, it's not an accident. It's instinct. It's her subconscious saying, I feel safe here. You've entered that rare psychological space where her guard drops and her curiosity starts turning into connection. But most men don't notice it. They're too caught up in the surface, the conversation, the smiles, the chemistry. What they don't see is that mirroring is one of the oldest non-verbal signs of attraction known to psychology. It's how humans unconsciously say, we're aligned. Take David, 54, a marketing consultant from Denver. One evening he was at a jazz bar with a woman named Claire, 49. They'd met through mutual friends, and during their conversation he noticed something subtle. Every time he leaned back, so did she. When he slowed his speech, she did too. When he laughed quietly, she matched his rhythm. At first he thought it was coincidence, but the longer it went on, the more he realized she wasn't copying him. She was connecting to him. He'd set the tone, and she was matching it. That's when he understood something powerful. Control doesn't come from dominance. It comes from emotional steadiness. When a woman mirrors you, she's stepping into your emotional rhythm. She's surrendering to your pace. The way you breathe, the way you move, the way you hold silence, it all becomes the atmosphere she adapts to. That's why composure matters so much. Your calm becomes her calm. Your energy sets the scene. Here's where Stoicism fits perfectly. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." In other words, your inner state paints the emotional space around you. When your thoughts are calm, grounded, confident, people feel it. They respond in kind. Women especially, because they're far more attuned to emotional signals than men realize. Mirroring isn't just about body language, it's about frequency. When she's aligned with your rhythm, your energy, it means she feels understood without words. That's the kind of connection that bypasses logic and goes straight to instinct. Now here's the key: when you notice her mirroring, you don't point it out. Don't joke about it. Don't shift your tone. Just stay in flow. If you break the spell by calling it out, you turn awareness into self-consciousness and the energy collapses. Instead, lean into it quietly. Stay still a little longer. Speak slower. Lower your tone slightly. You're guiding her into deeper comfort without saying a thing. That's the art of masculine presence, influencing without effort. The more grounded you are, the more she mirrors you. And when that happens, something shifts. She stops trying to connect and starts feeling connected. That's the exact moment attraction turns into attachment. So next time you notice her crossing her legs like you sipping when you sip or smiling when you smile, don't overthink it. You've already done what most men never master. You've made her feel at ease in your world. If you understand this power, write it below. I set the rhythm. Now don't go anywhere. The final part will explain how to stay in that power when her emotions start to rise. You'll regret missing it. Number 10. When she keeps talking. When a woman keeps talking around you, sharing stories, details, or even small things that don't seem important. That's not just conversation, it's investment. It's her way of saying, I feel seen, and I want to stay here a little longer. Most men don't understand this. They think attraction is about what they say to her, but often it's about how she feels while talking to you. When she's comfortable enough to keep talking, to wander through her thoughts without fear of judgment or interruption, it means you've given her something rare: space. That space is what creates emotional safety, and emotional safety is what builds connection. Here's what usually happens when a woman feels that calm, steady energy from a man: she relaxes into her femininity. Her words start to flow. She becomes expressive, playful, even vulnerable, because she feels she won't be dismissed or analyzed. Your silence gives her permission to open up, but there's more going on here than just comfort. When she keeps talking, she's testing your focus. She's watching how you listen. Do your eyes wander? Do you rush to respond? Or do you stay fully present, grounded, unshaken, steady? Because presence is the deepest form of attraction. In Stoic philosophy, there's a quote from Zeno that fits perfectly here. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. The modern man forgets this. He listens to reply, not to understand. But the Stoic man, he listens to feel. He knows silence isn't absence, it's attention. You see, women don't keep talking because they want constant feedback. They keep talking because they feel your energy shift when they do. Every nod, every pause, every quiet look communicates far more than words ever could. And here's the truth. When a woman talks freely, she's revealing what she values most: emotional rhythm. She wants to feel that she can flow while you remain grounded. That polarity, her movement, your stillness, is what creates chemistry. It's the dance of masculine and feminine energy at its most natural. But make no mistake, that doesn't mean you just sit there silently. The key is active calmness. You respond when it matters with few words but full weight. A simple "I get that" or a quiet smile when she shares something personal can carry more power than a 5-minute monologue. And the beauty of this dynamic, it flips the script. Instead of you trying to impress her, she ends up trying to hold your attention. Every word she speaks becomes a way to keep you engaged. And that's when she realizes, you're not like other men. You don't chase the spotlight, you create it. So when she keeps talking, don't rush to fill the space. Don't try to steer the conversation. Let her words move around your stillness. Because the longer she talks, the deeper she falls, not for what you say, but for how you make her feel while saying it. If you've ever noticed a woman who just keeps the conversation going, who lingers after saying goodbye, or who messages you again just to finish a story, that's not coincidence. That's attraction in motion. You didn't do it with charm. You did it with calm. And that's what makes her stay. Every man watching this knows most people go through life missing the signals that are right in front of them. But now you understand what those small moments really mean. When she asks questions, when she mirrors you, when she leans in and keeps talking, those aren't accidents. They're signs of curiosity, attraction, and emotional trust. What separates the average man from the Stoic man is awareness. You've learned that real confidence isn't loud, it's calm. It's not about chasing, performing, or proving anything. It's about holding your frame, staying centered, and letting her feel your peace. Because peace is power. If you're ready to take that mindset deeper, to learn how to use Stoic philosophy in real relationships with real women, join our private Stoic men's circle. Inside, you'll get access to mindset lessons, guided reflections, and deep training on emotional mastery and attraction through stillness. And if this video helped you see things differently, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Every day we break down the psychology of attraction, masculinity, and the Stoic calm that sets you apart. Thanks for watching, and remember, stillness always speaks louder than words. I'll see you tomorrow.